All right, guys, welcome to Flex Friday, last day of the week. Before we get into our weekend here, we're going to be starting off with a primer section, which essentially is another strength, but it's more like a gymnastic strength. And then we're going to transition to the actual workload, our actual strength component of today's Flex Friday. All right, so part one, the primer, is going to consist of two different movements. The first one is a single leg pike leg lift. We'll do 5 to 10 reps on one leg, 5 to 10 reps on the other leg. Let's take a look at what that looks like. You're going to be seated on the floor. You can use your hands to kind of press through. What I want you to try and do is lift that one leg, hold it for a second up here, and then lower it back down. This is going to test your hip strength, your hip flexibility. You're going to load it up, squeezing that quad as you drive it up. We're looking for 5 to 10 reps on one leg, 5 to 10 reps on the opposite leg. Take note if you see a significant difference between the two legs. It may mean you have a significant weakness on one side. When you're done with that, you're going to still stay seated, but we're going to go into a bent knee position to start. And we're going to do a 90-90, it's called a 90-90 hip rolls. We're going to add weight if you can. What it's going to look like is just start like this without using your arms touching anything. Just for balance purposes, I'll have them out to the side. I'm going to drop both knees, staying in my 90-degree angles. Both knees need to touch the floor. I'm going to try and stay super upright as I do these. I'll rotate back to central and then out to the other side. Notice how difficult these might be for you. If you have serious hip inflexibility, you're going to feel it here on this one. Getting your knees to the floor isn't always that easy. But again, you want to make sure you're still maintaining these 90-degree angles on both sides. You're going to work through a bunch of reps here, maybe 10 to 20 reps of just rotating from side to side, staying as upright as you can, trying to stay as balanced as you can. Now, if it's an easy movement for you, I want you to grab some weight and hold that weight in this front rack position as you do. Want to get even crazier? No, don't do that, just kidding. But holding that weight will definitely challenge you if you don't have much hip flexibility issues. Let's challenge your core as you're doing that movement as well. Once we're done with the primer, we'll crank through a bunch of sets of that. Once we're done with that primer, we'll go into our strength session. And these are 5 unbroken rounds. When I say unbroken, I mean I don't want you to put down the weight at all until you are done with the set. And we're going to work all on one side before switching to the other side. It's going to look something like this. I'm going to do this with a kettlebell. If you have a kettlebell, you're in luck. If you have a dumbbell, you can do this as well. The first movement when we start is a 10-meter one-arm overhead carry. We saw some of this last week. So you'll start to walk forward, keeping those knees nice and soft as you move forward. Belly's braced, everything's stacked over that shoulder as you hold that dumbbell or that kettlebell overhead. Once you get down 10 meters overhead carry, you'll stop, you'll lower it to your shoulder, and you're gonna do 5 one-arm kettlebell or dumbbell thrusters, followed by 5 one-arm kettlebell Russian swings or dumbbell swings. Okay, as soon as you hit 5 of these, you're gonna switch hands, load it up onto that other side, continue to walk forward 10 meters, followed by 5 thrusters, and then those 5 Russian kettlebell swings or dumbbell swings. All right, the whole complex is supposed to be done unbroken with 1 to 2 minutes of rest after you're done with everything. So again, it's a 10-meter overhead carry, 5 thrusters, 5 Russian swings, then 10-meter overhead carry on the opposite arm, 5 thrusters, 5 Russian swings, rest. Without putting down the kettlebell the whole way through. Round 1 shouldn't seem too bad. As you progress, it should get more and more difficult. But again, we're looking for perfect movements here. We're looking for that flex off for Flex Friday. Have fun, get after it, folks, and have a great weekend. Happy Bright Spot Friday, guys.